going to do our second award for the Operator of the Year, and then both Bruno and Clive are going to sit down with Teo for a discussion. A few years ago, Teo Iamgold, a colleague and a friend from EY, who is one of the industry's most excellent experts. I always enjoy talking shop with Teo. He said, More Than Minor Person of the Year award is so esteemed, it's a great award, and it does a great job celebrating the CEOs. But the operators are the secret engine of this industry, and there's not enough of a spotlight on the operators. And I agreed with him. So with Teo's support and the EY's team, we come together and we do our best to highlight who we think the Operator of the Year was. This year, we unanimously turned our attention to Bruno Lemelin. He is the Chief Operating Officer at Iamgold, and he is this year's Operator of the Year. Bruno first proved his mettle more than a decade ago when he took on the role of managing the Essakane mine in Burkina Faso. It's an 800-person operation producing 400 ounces of gold a year in a region where we all know politics are rapidly shifting. It was a trial by fire that shaped the operator that he became and that we present the award to today. Fast forward to 2023, when Bruno assumed the role of COO and led the successful construction, ramp-up, and commercial production of the Côté Gold mine, a nearly $3 billion project now on its way to becoming one of Canada's largest producers. Thanks in part to his leadership, we also had Renaud Adams on the stage today, and we'll hear more from Renaud tomorrow. They work closely together. Côté achieved its first gold pour this year and is already delivering very strong results, helping push Iamgold toward up to 820,000 ounces of annual production. What sets Bruno apart isn't just operational excellence, it's the way he sees a mine as an orchestra, where every part must work in harmony. That mindset is rooted in his academic side. He holds a doctorate in mineral economics and once thought he'd become a professor before the pull of the real world made its calling to him. And Bruno, we think you made the right choice. Today, he combines deep technical expertise with big picture vision, guiding expansions at Côté and Essakane, advancing the promising Gosselin deposit, and championing innovation from autonomous vehicles to AI that can hopefully help attract the next generation of miners. He's also a dedicated father of 2 teenage basketball players, and fittingly, he's a leader who inspires teams much the same way great coaches do, with discipline, mentorship, and belief in people. Please join me in congratulating Bruno on his achievement. Bruno, we're going to get a photo over here. Before you sit down. Thank you very much.
I only have 20 pages. No. It's important for me. Thank you very much. Standing here today in London to accept this award is truly like an honor for me. I want to accept it with humility, because I know also that many other companies, they did great things this year with remarkable milestones. Thank you very much. I accept this award on behalf of every person at Iamgold that wakes up before dawn, they lace up their boots, and they make things happen. Whether at Essakane, underground at Westwood, or turning into the vision of the new Canadian flagship of Côté into a reality. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm from Quebec City, not necessarily a mining town. Like it was mentioned, I was fascinated by economics and mining altogether. And for me, my focus, my passion, my obsession was to look at how to optimize the value of a mining asset. So I did great in engineering, but in 2014, I was given the opportunity to join Iamgold. And a former colleague of mine from Extrada, Gilles Ferlat. He asked me to join him at Essakane, but as an operator. And he said, I'm going to make an operator out of you, and later you will replace me. I said, really? And yeah, I'm very thankful for all the mentorship and coaching, Gilles. Gilles is just there. Thank you, Gilles, for your help. I also want to thank Renaud Adams, our CEO, an operator himself, great miner. I'm privileged to have your trust and to learn under your leadership every day. Look, to our board, to Renaud, the ELT, thank you for your trust and support. To every operator, technician, geologist, this is your award. To my family, thank you for understanding the long hours, the travel, the passion, the industry demands. Mining is tough, it's always been, but when it's done right, responsibly, safely, with excellence, there's nothing more rewarding. So thank you very much, everyone. Merci.
Please grab a seat. I would now like to introduce you all to Teo Iamgold, who is the head of mining for all of the Americas for EY. Teo, take it away.
Thanks, Anthony. Hello, everyone. And again, congratulations to Bruno and Clive, and by default, congratulations to B2 Gold and Iamgold. We have about 40 minutes, so I'm going to go pretty quickly. So first of all, Kyle, I know that being a mining person of the year is a tremendous title. I also know you have a long history of succeeding in the sector, so both BY and B2 Gold. Can you just share your reflection on top of what you just shared with us on actually being the mining person of the year?
Well, I think as I said in my remarks, it means a lot personally. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've often admired the people that are honored to be the person of the year. So first and foremost, it basically, I guess, took me 40 years to become an overnight success, but I'll take it. But there's a lot of people who've won this award who I admire and respect tremendously over many years. And I think I touched on it about the importance of recognizing other people. And I know Bruno said the same thing. When you're up here, it's great and it's nice to have an individual honor, but it comes on the back of so many people. In my case, so many people for over 40 years. Of course, I couldn't thank all of them up there, but just to reiterate, in my mind, it's humbling to get this award, but it's more humbling to accept this award on so many people that have worked so well for so long and clearly would not be here without them.
Thanks, Clive. And Bruno, you and I know each other since Falcon Beach days in Raglan. And great to have also Gilles Ferlat here, who I known since 2002 at Noranda. I know that it's a great award to have Iamgold Operator of the Year, but can you share a bit more about the challenges that you and your team had to go through when Côté wasn't going well, when Essakane I was born and raised in Burkina, so Essakane had some political turmoil because of the environment. Can you share a bit more about that path to Operator of the Year?
Thank you, Theo. Look, it's a huge moment for me because I see it as a personal accolade, but also like a recognition of the hard work of the teams and what they have achieved under challenging conditions, like you're saying. Just for, as an example, at Côté, taking a greenfield project and doing the commissioning, achieving commercial production, reaching nameplate in record time. It was just a great achievement, but a lot of pressure, a lot of issues to fix. Essakane, the geopolitical environment is always challenging. Westwood also, with the seismic event that happened in 2020, we brought the best geotech with us, and we developed a super algorithm that now works. So the team have been doing fantastic over the last 3-4 years, and just to be recognized for those efforts is a great honor. On a personal note, I can tell that success is not linear, certainly not. And yes, it's a roller coaster of emotions, but I'm super proud of what we have achieved.
Okay. So we're going to cover 4 areas. One, we're going to talk about leadership, then we'll talk about safety, sustainability, and responsibility. Then we'll cover technology innovation, technology being hard science, but also soft science. And we'll finish with culture and the future of the workforce. So I'm going to start with Clive. We live in a sector that have different sorts of leadership qualities, different sorts of paths. You've done it with BEMA, you've done it with B2 Gold, you've done it across the world. What leadership qualities do you believe are the most critical for driving success today?
I think obviously leadership is critical in all walks of life. I think in addition to that, the mining industry. I think when I look at the critical things of leadership, it's really treating people with fairness, respect, and transparency. And that is our company motto, and it's been that way for 40 years. So that includes all of our stakeholders, that includes every country we go into. Understanding their culture, understanding how they work, and becoming part of that, and working closely with them. So leadership in that case is identifying people within the community who want to be and can become leaders, and use those leaders to build teams. You know, I go back to the old days when I used to play a lot of rugby, and rugby is the ultimate team sport. And I've always looked at the business as being the same. And the idea that you need, in the case of rugby, you need 14 other teammates that are out there who got your butt, because it's a tough sport. And I view it the same as building a team. You have leadership in your team, but you need that trust of the entire team. So we've done that by empowering our own organization and looking to bring strong teammates into it, but also around the world in all the countries that we've been in. And we mentioned that fairness, respect, and transparency. Those are big words, but we try and live those every day.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I've been in Namibia with some of your sites, and I know that B2 Gold is famous for having what we call decentralized leadership, where you empower local leaders to actually run the mine, even if you have oversight from Vancouver. So good, very good point. For Bruno, on the same topic of leadership, gone are the days where we have this super large mining companies in Canada, where we're training people, where we have direct investment between like companies and industry and education. For the operation leadership, because not a lot of people are dreaming to become GMs or VP Ops and whatever. So let's think about operations leadership. What advice will you share about balancing the efficiencies, balancing the drive to rise in the corporate ladder versus actually doing a good job at operations?
A good question. We need to see. We need to have a very holistic view of the business. We talk about sustainability, safety, and operating performance, and we need to have the nice mix. They are not competing priorities, but they are strategic and core values. My advice would be that you be bold in your vision, and you stay strong with it. Like, I'm going to give you an example. When we first, when we designed Côté, we decided to have the autonomous fleet, and right at the gate. And it was not necessarily always easy, but we stick with the vision. We stayed strong, and it was not necessarily always easy. Sometimes we say, okay, maybe we want to go to do a retrofit. We will start manually, but no, it paid off, and now we have like hauling fleet that is cheaper, greener, and more productive. So those are the kinds of success that brings confidence in the career, and then help a professional to climb the ladder. But you need to be bold in having those vision, but an holistic vision, so you can have all those compartments working together.
And staying on the operation, I remember, you know, when you were in Burkina, you established this Six Sigma program across the operation, making sure everybody gets training. It looks like nothing actually, but the concept of continuous improvement is not culturally something that you see in every country. So it was interesting to see that. Now, when we think about the new metrics of pillars of success in operation like sustainability, safety, how is Iamgold embedding those priorities into the day-to-day operation?
Well, like I mentioned, first, they are core values. They are not competing priorities. And for us, and like at Essakane, it's all about educating our workforce. So we gave like 2,000 training for the yellow belt in Six Sigma. So it was super interesting. I think when you consider these elements as strategic advantage, you become like in a position where you can define the future of mining, definitely.
Okay. And on the, Clyde, I've heard you in many different international conferences talking about the fairness, respect, transparency, and the idea of being an extension of the Canadian culture. After so many years being successful, not only in Africa, but also in Asia and also in the Americas, what are the lessons learned that you can share with this group around how to make sure you can not only come up with the idea, but implement it and sustain it over so many years? Because it looks simple, but it's actually everything, like B2Go.
No, that's a great question. I think that's part of that piece about fairness, respect, transparency. That can equal loyalty. So if you treat people well, you train them well, and you show them opportunity to advance. You know, we have Namibians that we took to Mali to help build a mine in Mali. We have Malians who are working up at the Goose project in Nunavut. So imagine that. Like, they've got 80 degrees of separation. They've gone from plus 40 degrees in Mali to minus 40 degrees now up in Nunavut.
Yeah.
So give them opportunity, show people that when you train them well, and they can move up within the organization. So if you treat people that way, you tend to get tremendous support from the staff and loyalty. We have a very, very low turnover in our company all the way through it. Another thing I'll just touch on, because Bruno and I, we talked about this a little bit, about safety. Another way you show fairness, respect, and transparency to your people is how you train them, and safety is an important part of it. I always say if you want to look at a mining company and do a little short-term due diligence on if they're a good company, start with safety. If they're a safe company, they probably do other things really well. We have a mine in the Philippines called the Masbate mine that just reached 7 years without a lost time accident.
Wow.
Now that is a world record, and that's because of the fairness, respect, transparency, and the training and the culture of the Filipino people. They all see themselves as one big family. They respect and take care of each other.
I think we're going to have to applaud that because 7 years is a lot of time. Bruno, on similar ideas when it comes to expanding what you succeed at Côté, because when it comes to technology, it is not every day that mining likes to be, many people say mining likes to be second, but Côté was a breakthrough. So when we think about the role that technology is going to play to improve operational performance, what are the most exciting topics or areas that you see in operation in the next 3 to 5 years, to stick to Rick Rule's 3 to 5 year investments?
Theo, I'm going to surprise you. I don't see technology as a differentiator anymore. I see it as a necessity, a condition to remain competitive in the market. Look at Côté Gold, for instance. We have deployed advanced autonomous systems, electric shovels, and a sophisticated control room linking the mine and the mill. Now we're focusing on integrating AI-driven technologies with advanced analytics. Look, I'm super excited about the future because now what you see is the convergence of artificial intelligence with real-life data. And it links each discipline together. So it's super powerful because now you have like the data from resource development, geology, geotech, mining, milling, maintenance, all brought together. So I definitely believe this is, in the near future, something that's going to create like the next step change in cost management and performance. So I think that needs to be on our radar big time.
Good. I actually have a story that links the two of you, but I never even told each of you. So I remember when I was at Dundee Precious Metal, we were trying to build a solar farm in Sumer, and I went to Ochikoto mine, and I saw what you achieved there by having you didn't have the grid, so you had the solar, you had HFO, then you had a switchboard. It was the first switchboard that I've seen at the mine, and even the leadership of Caterpillar in the US did not know they had that switchboard that you bought for Baloa. But at the same time was when Bruno, you guys were building the solar farm in Burkina, and you had a very innovative offtake agreement with like third parties that actually built it. If I go back to Ochikoto, many executives will try to say that the innovation and technology only works in the Western world. But when I look at what you've done in Namibia and what I hear about what is done elsewhere, like Fekola and so on, what do you have to say to deploying innovation and technology, innovation being anything new, like, across the world?
Well, clearly, solar has gone global.
Yeah.
There's so many examples. But when we did it in Namibia, it was really one of the first of its kind, as you mentioned. And obviously, you need the more sunshine you have, the sun that you have, the better. Interesting enough, Namibia is the second best place in the world for a solar plant. The other is the Atacama Desert in Chile, and actually, I've worked in both. But at the end of the day, we thought we were quite first movers when we did the solar plant in Namibia. And to be honest with you, we weren't sure how if it was going to be a break-even proposition. But we believed in the future. We believed it was going to be good for Namibia. And as we end up running out of ore to actually all mines end eventually, this one won't for a while, but we're going to give the power plant over to the grid in Namibia.
Okay. And which area do you anticipate will be really step change for operation overall around the world when it comes to technology?
Well, obviously, solar panels are getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yes.
And I think that and other technologies will be the driving force.
Okay. Now let's pivot to culture and the future of our people in the sector. I'll start with Bruno. How do you envision creating a culture of excellence to drive performance, but also attract and develop people in operation, not only in the Western world, because that's a different reality, but also elsewhere in the world where you have operations?
Yeah, great question. Look, culture is our foundation, and we at Iamgold, we are super strong on education. Just last week, we were in Burkina Faso, and we invited students studying in mining engineering at Essakane for a field trip. I wanted to become a professor, but I ended up being an engineer. But I gave them like a seminar, like a 3-hour seminar on mineral economics. And for me, it was very rewarding, but it's also like for them to understand how it works, the mining industry, and giving them tricks how to succeed and go faster. We are also like very involved with the Laurentian University in Sudbury, give them a good grants there. So wherever we can be involved, we are. We also, for our employees at Essakane, at Westwood and Côté, we offer continuous learning and development. So thinking about our employees as well, like so they can develop and acquire new skills, not only like technical, but also management and on leadership. And I think what is important also, like we talk about global mobility, to give hope that more people from West Africa, they can work in Canada. Like we believe in diversity and inclusion, because getting different perspectives, it accelerates innovation, it creates much better plans, and it creates a nice feeling of belonging, a purpose. And talking about purpose, If our roles can connect with sustainability, community impact, and reaching to the youth who are interested in the mining industry, wherever they are in the world, okay? I think it will create a great value proposal for them, having that purpose. The next generation are not necessarily just interested in having a job or paycheck. They want the purpose. Yeah. And succeeding this will attract the best talent in this industry and retain them. And not having always the same core of individual, but coming from different perspective and dimension too.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I'll come back in your closing remarks. Clive, the Canadian culture, the Canadian principle that you've been a champion of around the world, I know that we have, some of the members of different government groups and agencies. Some people may not realize that that's actually what is being viewed. Like when you see a pickup truck with a Canadian company logo on it, it's not the same feeling, let's say in Dori, like you see a same pickup truck with another logo on it, and it's a Russian company, or it's a company from South Africa or Australia. What steps should we take to attract and retain workers, not only in Canada but from abroad, to actually see the value of that Canadian extension of values that you talk about?
Well, I think, excuse me, sorry. Remember many of the countries we go to, the best way for us to compete is to be best in class.
Yeah.
In other words, be the safest company, be the best ones in terms of taking care of the local community, in terms of helping them with agriculture, helping them with healthcare, all those things. So if you do those best, you may not be the cheapest of that mining. You may not be the cheapest in terms of other areas, but some of the competitors, the Chinese for one, they're going to come in and build something more cheaply than you're going to build it. Mm-hmm. What's the quality going to be like? We have to be best in class. I think that's the biggest way to ensure there's more trucks running around with Canadian logos on it. So I think we are best in class. We have to make sure that everyone realizes that, and the people at the mines realize that Canadians are best in class. I hate to repeat myself over and over again, but fairness, respect, and transparency makes us best in class.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm going to turn to the audience, see who has questions for these winners. Any question? Yes.
Can I just ask a little bit about the political situation? Has it been over-egged in, you mentioned about Burkina and Mali and so on. Has that been, the coverage in the general media, has that been excessive in your opinion?
Well, I thought we were supposed to talk about positive things here today. It is an award ceremony, but no, a great question, and we see this a lot around the world. Mali, let's use Mali as an example. We have succeeded in mining in Mali since 2014, and many companies like Iamgold and other companies have succeeded for decades in Mali. Mali's a good address to be in the mining industry. We continue to work very well in Mali. We have not lost a day to any terrorist activity. We have not lost a day to being short on fuel. It works. Every day the mine works. The government is hugely supportive of the mine. The government knows they have to protect their own people and they have to protect industry. Gold is the biggest contributor to the economy of Mali. So recently, and the power of the media is a little bit scary, because recently there was an article that came out from the Wall Street Journal, and the headline was, Al-Qaeda is taking over its first country, and it was about Mali. Well, that's irresponsible. There couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, there is some terrorist activity, primarily in the north, and yes, at some point, they were trying to cut the fuel supply to Bamako, the capital. Now that has not succeeded, but they are not capable of taking over a city like Bamako of 4 million people, let alone a country of 21 million people. So that hurt our stock price. We lost a few billions of dollars off our market capitalization simply because that rumor was picked up by many other news outlets. So it's a very dangerous precedent, it's a very damaging precedent, and we have to continue to fight against it the best we can. It's hard to fight against the media. The best way you can do it is just continue to operate, continue to get the facts out there. Interestingly enough, a few days after that article came out, the U.S. government responded with a statement that they put up on X. The statement said the U.S. is supportive of the Malian government in their fight against terrorism. They also said the U.S. government, they look forward to further cooperation in fight against terrorism. The Americans and other Western companies know that they can't have Al-Qaeda take over a country. They're fighting the same terrorists, whether they're fighting them in America or fighting them in Mali or other countries. So the media can be very damaging. Your question is bang on. We have to push back by performing against that. It's a very negative aspect of our business, and we have to continue to prove them wrong.
Get this microphone here. Let's keep the conversation going. I'll tag along on that one.
Okay.
Clive, can we get this mic live? Thank you
Yeah,
very
it's
much. Clive, you are known, you have a reputation in the industry for being one of the best at managing political risk. Given your track record, given you've been able to operate with success in regions where other people have not, do you have a no-go zone? Is there anywhere in the world right now that you just simply would not deal with? Or do you feel confident enough that you can make anything work if you needed to?
Yeah, good question. I don't want to disparage any countries, but at the end of the day, there are a number of places we wouldn't go. We're not going to go to war-torn countries. The safety of our people is paramount. So that's the first thing. The other thing, when you do due diligence on a mining project, we tend to be more driven by geology than geography. That's one of the reasons we've gone around the world. But you have to have more than just geology. You have to have political stability. You have to have somewhere that the banks will finance you. There's no point going somewhere if you can't raise money to do it. So there's a whole list of things. And it's important that people don't realize that we go places on a whim because we like the geology. We do a lot of careful due diligence, including the things that I mentioned, to ensure that it's a place we can, one, our people can be safe. Two, there's a tax system that works, a political environment that works, there's stability. So, those are some of the key factors. There are regions in the world, as I said, war-torn regions. There's other regions, though, where they're saying they're ready. Some of the stands we've looked at, I won't say which ones, but some of the stands that we've looked at say to us they're ready to forget the old history of the Russians being involved in everything, and they're open for business with the West. Quite a few of them say that. Ultimately, when you go there and you try and do the work there, they're not really telling you the truth. They may mean well because they want to be Western countries with Western business, but often you can waste some time, hopefully not too much time, in looking at countries that aren't ready for us yet.
Excellent, thank you. Do you have other questions from the audience? Right here, yes, sir.
Sort of connected to that one, just how do you find operating in Colombia compared to your portfolio globally?
Yeah, we have the Gramalote in Colombia. We've been involved for quite some time. Every project needs a technical champion, as Bruno would know, and also needs a corporate champion. So I'm the corporate champion of Gramalote. There's a lot of technical supporters in our company as well. It's in Colombia, it's in Antioquia, the best part to be in Colombia. There's a good mining history there. There's been recent successes of Canadian companies, Iamgold is one, who have succeeded in Colombia. The government has supported us and shown they want us to develop the mine. The mine actually has a permit to build a much better mine than we're looking to do. So we're looking there at completing a permitting process with the government, modifying the permit by the end of next year. And from their point of view, we'll make a production decision. At this point in time, I would suggest it should be a positive one. It can produce 250,000 ounces of gold with all-in sustaining costs of less than $1,000 an ounce. This is the kind of mine we should be building, and that's what B2Gold's all about. It's about cash flow for our shareholders, dividends, but fundamentally it's about growth.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a last question for Bruno on, I know Renaud didn't talk about it on this panel, but you created a district, Nelligan district. Is that where next is for Iamgold?
Thank you, Theo, for bringing this up. Look, we've been very successful with Côté, and even at Côté, we have like a Gosselin.
Yeah.
I said, like the next best place to find a mine is near or underneath a mine. And Gosselin is going to help us, like we're trying to think about a super pit concept right now. Mm-hmm. So great growth options. But yeah, so when you develop a greenfield project, it's such like an enterprise, an endeavor, and you're very happy when it's all done. And 3 months later, you say, well, what's next? Yeah. I want it because you're addicted to it. And well, we're very fortunate to not have only Gosselin, but also Nelligan. And Nelligan is a very prolific, prospective region near Chibougamau-Chapet. And like now we have like close to 9 million ounces, and we just recently announced 2 acquisitions to just consolidate further the region. So we believe it's going to be part of our future. We have a very nice growth pipeline. We're at the very beginning, so we're going to do the front-end engineering studies, baseline, environmental baseline, and we keep drilling because like you need to know the whole shape of the deposit before you go too far with your engineering. But it's very promising, and again, still in Canada, so it's going to also help us rebalancing our portfolio from shifting a little bit from West Africa to Canada.
Okay. Any last words, Bruno, before Clive?
Again, thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you for the Northern Miner to make it happen. Thank you very much.